Welcome to Red Dirt D&D. I'm Michael Cross, and I play Gideon Block, a paladin with a tragic past, along with Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, a halfling druid searching for a new life, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, a half-elf rogue with a past he can't seem to escape, Brooke Bullock as Macron Stone Shaper, a young dwarf sorcerer setting out to discover his own arcane gifts, and Ash King is our dungeon master. Join us now for Tales from the Caliban Frontier.
The sun in the Caliban Frontier pounds down hotly on the tops of your heads. Overhead, a pseudo-dragon flits through the warm air, momentarily stopping on top of the train to give a curious glance at our heroes before thinking better of doing anything and flittering off again, chasing bugs in the warm summer air. Your train has just been beset by a rowdy group of goblins. Through your actions, you have dispatched one group of these banditos, but the possibility remains that there are more further along the train. You have seen evidence of this. Passenger car doors flung open, and some people questioning why this is happening and mourning the loss of money and other sentimental objects, jewelry, trinkets. Heading on down the line of cars, you come to one of the cattle cars that is currently transporting various goods meant for the frontier. You hear the telltale noises of something rifling through the bags and boxes that have been placed inside of this car. What would you like to do?
First off, I tell Poppy, stay here, stay out of danger. And I pull my hood up over my eyes so that way the glare of the sun isn't quite as bad. And I peek in and see what's going on inside the cattle car.
Give me a quick perception check.
9.
9.
Would you like me to look, other paw?
Yes, if you want to, but be careful. Do you still have that wide-brimmed hat?
Yeah, I've got a hat.
Okay, good.
Every lady has a hat, Paul.
Of course.
Macron's a little bit distracted by the pseudo-dragon that flitted along, and was it a different cattle car or this one that it lit upon, or did it just fly off?
It was just kind of flying around,
Okay.
chasing bugs, and just seemed to be looking for a good time, a good meal.
And
you
Poppy
go.
was distracted by that
I
as well.
also was distracted by the pseudo-dragon because I got a 7 on that perception.
You were watching the pseudo dragon, and it was flitting about in the sky, and you accidentally kind of get that quick glance at the sun. And so your eyes have to kind of adjust as you're looking into the gloom of this cattle car, because it is not, it's not a passenger car, so it's not really lit up. So it's very dark, and the shapes are it's a little hard to make out.
Can I try to stealth my way in?
You can.
19.
19. Okay. Okay. So, Gideon, you begin to stealth into this cattle car. And, you hoist yourself up and very quietly kind of slip behind one of the crates. And peeking around, you see the forms of 2 wolves. They have saddlebags on them. And standing on top of one of the crates, you see there is a goblin who is very kind of quickly and eagerly going through the crate. And it appears to be one of the crates that has some various dried foodstuffs. And it gathers some up, very intent on its task, and then jumps down and starts stuffing it into the saddlebag of one of the wolves. The other wolf, who has its saddlebags are fairly full, you notice its ear flicks and turns towards you before the face turns as well. And this wolf looks at you, stares you dead in the eyes, because it has spotted you, and it begins to growl.
I stand, and I hold out my hand to try and silence it.
Give me an animal handling check.
Might need Poppy up here real fast.
And just for flavor, Macron just rolled a natural 20, on perception, so maybe he heard that growl. Suddenly he's like, oh wait, what's that? Kind of echoing in the cart.
Or a natural 20.
Another natural 20.
What?
We should drop our dice on the ground.
Crits on
Rock.
crits.
My wife gave me these for my Father's Day. These are my favorite dice.
Can she buy me some dice?
So the love is just in the dice. The love is stored in the dice.
That's awesome.
Yes. So you kind of hold out your hand to this wolf, and its ears flick towards you, and its head kind of tilts, and it seems to almost be domesticated as you somehow figure out the right hand signal as it just kind of trots up and puts its big head under your hand and just asks for scritches behind the ears.
Yeah, and I start scratching his ears, and I just go, and I'm sitting. So only one goblin in here. It's the other one.
Correct.
So as soon as I start petting the wolf, I go,
This goblin looks up and
"Don't move."
puts his little hands up and drops the apples and bread that it had, picked up, and the other wolf that was with it, its ears immediately perk up and look at you, and a low rumbling growl begins to resound through its chest, as it's looking at its companion, and you just almost get this sense of, you traitor. But the goblin is just, no, don't shoot, just...
Can I reach out and grab Poppy and pull her up into the train?
Yes, you can assist her to get up.
Yeah.
No problem.
That's what I was going to reach down. And I said, "Poppy, you watch this wolf for me, okay?"
And her eyes just get so big, and she reaches up and pets his shoulder, and she's trying very hard to seem super cool, but she's so jazzed.
Its ears, swivel, and it looks over at you, and just, the whole typical, apparently this is the friendliest wolf that has ever existed, as it kind of gives your cheek a lick, and, starts looking for treats.
I walk over to the goblin. Said, "Don't mean you any harm. Why are you here? I mean, I know you're here to rob the place, but are you alone?"
No, Pa Snaggletooth. He brought us here.
"Where is Pa?"
He's up a little farther.
All right. "I'm going to need you to settle down as I tie you up."
Okay.
And I pull out my rope, tie him up.
You notice as you're tying him up, his cheeks are a little sunken in, and his body seems to be a little thinner, a little more frail. You kind of get the sense... Actually, go ahead and give me a quick medicine check.
Yeah.
And Poppy, you can do this too if you'd like.
That was only 3.
But I got a 19.
19. So Poppy, it really stands out to you because, with some of your training and with some of the things that you've seen, you've definitely seen the difference between the haves and the have-nots. And this goblin definitely seems to be malnourished.
I don't think he's had very much to eat, Gideon. I think I have an extra biscuit in my pocket. I'm just going to hand the goblin a biscuit,
Yes.
but he's tied up, so I'm just going to hold it up towards his mouth.
Well, I'm about to say, I'm imagining that Gideon, you probably would have bound his hands,
In front.
in
front
front?
of him.
Okay,
He's
so
not-
I
he's not
hand
ill.
him the
Yeah, and
biscuit.
he very, very clearly, as you're offering this out to him, he just opens up his hands, and just his eyes get, real big and real wide, and just takes this biscuit from you and just begins immediately to stuff his face, eating very quickly, almost afraid that it's going to get taken away.
I don't think Paul Snaggletooth feeds them very well. That's very inhospitable.
Macron kind of comes up in line with the opening of this railway cargo cart or whatever, and his brow furrows, and then he says, "When my uncle Jacoby Black Hands gave us permission to come on out here, I don't think it was to feed varmints."
Living things are living things, and nothing should have to starve to death. That is an absolutely atrocious way to go.
Well, I didn't mean we had to, be overtly mean to it. I mean, Gideon hasn't pulled his shooting iron yet, so he's probably safe. But why are we feeding it? There could be danger on up ahead.
Well, maybe.
It very quickly stuffs the rest of the biscuit in its mouth, cheeks big, kind of like a hamster, has just...
Can you tell me more about Paul Snaggletooth in return for that biscuit that you have just ingested, my friend?
He kind of licks the crumbs off of his fingers and just... Pa leads us. He's the big boss, the big brain.
Does Pa look like you, or is he different?
He's older. I mean, he's Pa for a reason, but he's been trying to feed us and to keep us well and good with our bellies full.
Does Pa answer to anyone else? Does Pa have somebody that he works with that might be bigger, metaphorically or literally?
Pa sometimes talks to Mama.
And does Mama look like Pa?
Not really. She's Mama. Mamas don't look like Papas.
I see. I don't think he's very smart.
No.
But is she also, I don't think I can say this delicately. Is she also what my friend here calls a varmint?
Varmint. What mean varmint?
Does she look like you with the ears and the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Mama is Goblin. Gideon, give me a history check. 4. You don't much remember goblins because you didn't really deal with them, but there's kind of an inkling back in your hindbrain that goblins don't normally rob trains.
Right. So I say, look, I take the saddlebags off of the wolves, and I actually sling them over my shoulder.
Okay.
And
They're
I say, we're gonna go
rather
up
heavy.
we're gonna go up to the front. If you guys just need food, I don't have a problem with that. We can take care of that. If you're stealing people's goods, then I have a problem.
You can't eat shiny. I don't understand why your compatriots were stealing what they called shiny. Do you
Give
have
me
any
a persuasion
ideas?
check. And I will give you advantage because, you've been kind to this little goblin.
That's gonna be a 17. Thank you for the advantage. Because it would have been a 7.
So yeah, as you're talking to this goblin, he's opening up. You've fed him, you've been kind to him, you haven't pulled any weapons on him. You've been kind to his wolves. So he just looks up at you and says, "You can't eat shiny, but you can trade shiny."
Interesting.
Well, what have we got? Macron's here. Have we got?
I'm outside twirling my gun.
So you're okay.
Listen to this
You're out
moaning.
there. All right, Zonimus. I
On the
say
ground together.
let's all head up to the front. You two. What was your name?
Ziglig.
All right, Ziglig. Let's head up to the front.
You ain't gonna shoot him?
Oh no,
He's just
he's tied up.
He very obviously cowers when you mention
But
shooting
you
him.
shot the last goblin.
He's running away and taking people's stuff.
Is this one taking people's stuff?
Well,
You shot Roddy?
I shot a lot of them. There's 2 of your compatriots dead.
He kind of looks to where you're nodding.
So we're gonna go up front and we're gonna talk to Paul.
Okay.
I'll look at the goblin and be like, someone's looking out for you. He's a killer.
Very obviously starts to become a little more frightened of you.
I'm just giving this wolf so many chinny scritches. Just all the chinny scritches.
It's just it's gotten to that point where it's like it's doing that dog lean on you.
It's gonna knock me over.
Yeah, because
I'm small.
halflings are small, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a medium-sized creature. So you can literally ride this thing.
I'm only 2 feet 10 inches tall and
You're
a
even
whopping
short for a
30. I
halfling.
am small for a halfling and a
Wow,
whopping
that's awesome.
35 pounds. I am teensy.
Yeah.
It was why my father was trying to marry me off because I was small and attractive.
I'm
Yes, so
6'3", so you're really tiny.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
just over your knee.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this wolf is it's leading into you almost to the point of like when a dog gets really into it and is putting their weight on you, you're almost stumbling. It's that big.
So let's get out of this car and then help Poppy down and call the wolves down as well. And we're gonna start heading to the front.
One of them actually does, like, the one that you got the nat 20 on, that one is listening to you. The other one, while it's not attacking you, it basically, as soon as you kind of take the saddlebags off it kind of starts to run off into the prairie.
And I figured.
He's free now.
Bye. Bye, yip yap.
All right, so let's make our way to the front.
All right, so you start heading towards the front, and you do see in front of
the actual steam engine. You see where some logs and some deadfall has basically been thrown over the track. It's not something that's like going to be too difficult to move. It's going to take a little bit of time, and you see some of the engineers have already kind of started to pick this deadfall up and start to move it. But you do see the engineer is kind of basically being held up by a third group, and that group consists of what you assume is Pa Snaggletooth sitting proudly atop what you assume is probably the alpha of the wolf pack. So, and he's kind of, again, much like the other goblins, his gear very cobbled together. You know, it looks like he's taken things from numerous different places and just kind of cobbled together a little bit of armor. He's got a top hat, slightly oversized, and the top has been popped up, so you know that stovepipe kind of look. It's very ratty, but he wears it with pride, and you see one tooth is just sticking out. The rest of them are they're not looking the best. But he has the engineer in his sights with his wolf growling, you know, keeping the guy where he wants him. You're gonna make sure that this train don't move until I say it'll move. Understood?
Does Pa Snaggletooth look as skinny as well, or would he be what you consider rotund?
He looks maybe a little better fed, like not quite as malnourished.
But it's clear that he's not just like hoarding it all for himself.
No, not in any way.
Okay.
And he has, you know, he does have a couple of, you know, they do look to be the more robust of the group as kind of his honor guard.
But they're not fat cats or anything.
No, not by any definition of the word.
Okay.
And how many are there? Is it just him, or are there?
So there is Pa Snaggletooth with his wolf, and then there are two other little goblins who are kind of keeping an eye on the rest of the train crew. No funny business.
I'm gonna
Have
nudge.
they noticed us yet?
Are you stealthing?
Yeah.
Give me a group stealth.
Oh,
yeah.
Nat 20 for a total of 27.
Okay. Yeah, you.
Macron 19.
13.
15 and 11.
all of
Okay.
them.
So Gideon, you're probably the most obvious, because you're probably, you know, out front. Zominus, you just kind of shift back between the actual, like, engine and the coal car. So you're kind of back, still within distance to hear and see what's going on, but definitely out of the mind's eye. I say, Poppy, you're just kind of tucked up, kind of behind Gideon a little bit, because you can use. He's big enough that he basically is cover. And Makran was at a 19?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Makran, you've been hanging out with Zominus this whole time and kind of echoing what he's doing. So
That's excellent.
you kind of tuck yourself with him. So the two of you are kind of tucked back. And Gideon and Poppy, you're the two who've kind of come forward a little bit more.
So have they seen it?
That's what we're about to find out.
Okay. It's not.
So, Pa and the other goblins, they're a little more focused on the crew, you know, making sure that they don't try anything, and they're counting on the rest of the gang to do their jobs and then report to the front of the train as soon as they're done. So they're just focused on this. This is, you know, typical day in the life. The wolf, on the other hand, one of its ears does flick towards you, and it kind of so it spots you, but the others don't.
I look over at Zonimus and I kind of signal the top hat, and I to a signal with the gun, and I signal for you to shoot the top hat off of the paw. Can you do that?
I'll wink and smirk.
All right.
Maneuver around and
I will give you basically a surprise round, Zominus, because you, with that nat 20, just blend right in.
all right.
You are the shadows.
And Makran reaches out. You notice once again he kind of has his hand near his vest pocket, and he reaches out and touches your hand for a moment as you reach for your gun, and it just calms you, and you just feel good about this shot. So now you have advantage.
I do love advantage.
with True Strike.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Good job.
Again, I'm going to hesitate between that top hat, that spot right above his nose, between those beady little eyes. Back and forth, back and forth. I got a poker chip.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
That seems
You
to
wanna,
me that maybe
you want to place a
advantage-
bet on that?
What happened? I can't see your dice tray
1
from
and
here.
3. All right, so
Malcolm's still working on this sorcery thing. He doesn't know it
poker
all
chip,
real well. yet.
reroll poker chip. What's it?
So yeah, let's say
Remind
the chips of fate. You can give that chip up to me, place your bet, and you can re-roll. Is that what you want to do?
I'll dig it out of my tinderbox for you in a little bit.
All right.
That's what I like to do on this. 'cause
All right.
This gun goes off without
Take
proving
that-
the point.
Or, you
Then
know,
here we are, and or here I am.
your aim just
so.
happens to be a little lower. It could be a win-win. Okay.
All right. That one's cocked, but it looks good.
If it's cocked, go ahead and just re-roll
All
it.
right. So that one was there. All right, so 17. For
17.
that. And he settles on. He's gonna trust the square shooter over here and go for the hat.
All right. So this gunshot goes off and startles the train crew, the goblins, and Pa especially, as his hat goes sailing off into the prairie. He follows it for a second and then realizes, wait, that was a gunshot. I gotta look the other way. So he turns, and you see these eyes light up with fiery rage. As he, now what was that? Who done did that?
I need y'all to freeze right there.
And who might you be?
Gideon Block. I'm the man who took out a couple of your compadres back in the back there.
You hurt my boys?
You could say that, and if you don't stop what you're doing, the same could be said of you.
I don't take too kindly to no intimidation from no pointed-eared little pink skin.
So we're gonna have trouble, is what you're saying, Pa?
Oh, we're gonna have lots of trouble. Roll initiative.
Howdy friends, Michael Cross here, taking just a few moments away from Red Dirt D&D, asking you to become a patron of this podcast. Your support means we can add a lot of extra niceties to the show in the form of artwork and music, as well as supporting our cast and crew. Patrons get early access to content as well as bonus material, along with access to our Discord server. You can even get an invite to monthly Q&A sessions and DM classes, maybe even a 2-hour game session with our very own Dungeon Master, Ash King. We have 6 different monthly levels to choose, ranging from $5 to $100. Head over to patreon.com/reddirtdnd right now to show your support for this new podcast. Now, back to Tales from the Caliban Frontier.
Somebody offer Pa moonshine. He can't say no.
Shine.
Welcome to the carousel of cantrips, because that's all.
Say level 1. That's how it be.
At least you get cantrips. We
I
didn't used to
do.
get cantrips.
Seems to me we don't have anybody with even the most basic common sense. And Macron, pulls, slips his warhammer, the long strap that's hooked over the end of this about 2-foot long handle that he can wield one-handed or two-handed. It's got that kind of sledgehammery looking metal head on it. It's got some decorative engravings and stuff on it. He slips that off of his shoulder and has it ready to go as a Snaggletooth. Paul Snaggletooth gives that
Snaggletooth.
defiant answer. So
Can I retroactively also have been reloading my 2 shots?
Yes. Yeah, that's something you could have done between the 2 encounters. I won't. Yeah. All right.
what's your wisdom?
Zominous.
20.
14.
14.
Macron's got a modified 18.
18.
It's a big 6.
6.
all of 6.
You just hang out with your wolf.
I'm just gonna feed him a biscuit for him.
Yes,
Biscuit for
your
me.
wolf companion does seem a little conflicted.
I know. I don't want this alpha to just be like, "Boy, get your butt over here."
'Cause, yeah, you do see, it's looking at, looking at this other larger wolf, and then kind of looking back at you guys, and just trying to figure out, who does it want to throw its lot in with. All right, so we're gonna start off with Zominus. What would you like to do?
So is Paul armed?
He is.
Is little goblins armed?
They are.
Sorry, ranged weapons. Are they holding pistol guns?
Yeah, they have, again, these very kind of junky, they're not the best pistols in the world because, they're goblins, but they came prepared.
Okay. So I am going to take a shot at Paul.
Okay. I'm saying he is riding atop that alpha wolf. So basically he and the wolf can kind of be considered one unit at this point in time.
16.
16? Yeah, that will strike.
And it is 7 points.
7 points? Okay.
Now for my move action, I'm going to get myself between Paw and the first goblin
Okay.
I would come across. And I am going to pull out a dagger with my non-shooting hand,
Okay.
which is this one.
Which is your other
Yes.
hand.
The blazing saddle's not it's wonderful. But I shoot with this hand.
So I'm kind of standing in between them with gun pointed up high, hammer pulled back, and a dagger pointing at the other one, just deep in the middle of the muck, daring them.
Okay, you said that was 6 points?
Yes.
Okay.
7.
7, okay.
5 and 2.
So you get this shot off, and it does graze him pretty good. But Pa does seem to be a little more, he's definitely stronger than his boys. So he kind of takes your shot in the shoulder and just, got ourselves a tricky one here, don't we?
No idea.
All right, is that all for you, Zominus?
That is all from me.
Okay, Makron.
So, what's our range again? How far away are we, feet-wise, meters?
Maybe about 30 feet.
Awesome.
Not too. You guys got pretty close before they spotted you and you decided to act.
Very good. So Makron's going to go ahead and kind of follow Zonimus's lead slightly. He's going to move forward his movement rate 25 feet or whatever, and get probably closing to whomever he reaches first. If it happens to be Paw or one of the other goblins, and just swing.
Okay.
With this warhammer. He's going to swing two-handed.
Okay.
Two-fisted. With a total of a 14.
14, and you were going after Pa or one of his goblins?
Just whichever one he comes to first.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you kind of come towards one of his boys
Yep.
first. That is holding up some of the engineers, and you swing with this warhammer. But this goblin just kind of, you do actually catch him under the chin.
Good.
So what was your damage on that?
I'm so sorry about that.
You're fine.
2 plus his strength bonus makes it 7.
Ooh, good.
No, wait, strike that 4.
4. Okay.
Learning. Gosh, man, awesome.
Yeah, so you catch this goblin under the chin and just daze him. Just he kind of shakes his head and just looks at you with, again, fire starting to burn in their eyes.
And Makron looks at a couple of the crew folks there, and he says, "Y'all take cover."
You say they very quickly, kind of in the confusion of the melee, move to get behind something. So yes, the goblins have turned their attention away from the train crew and have turned it on to you all, since you are the biggest source of opposition currently. So that will bring us to Gideon.
Okay, bullet goes flying by me. I see Makron run over there and punch one of the guys with his hammer, so I'm just going to draw my pistol and fire at Paw.
Okay.
With a 15.
A 15. A 15 actually will not hit him.
Okay.
He dodges, just puts himself flat against the body of his mount.
Yes.
So, yeah, your shot straight over him.
There you go.
All right.
Hold my ground.
Okay. So next up is the goblins. So Makron, since you have kind of run in, they're not going to fumble with their actual pistols. They pull out some knives and are going to just, the two of them, since you're up in there with them, are just kind of going to try and slash at you.
One is going to be a 18. The other will be a 14.
Awesome. So Makran takes kind of a reaction here, realizing what's going to happen, and he just kind of briefly, for half a second, closes his eyes and feels a connection to the earth, and you see his skin just kind of become all crisscrossed, and he almost looks like he's made of stone, and just over him like that.
And that's a reaction?
Yeah, so it's a stone sorcery that he can do.
Very cool.
And he's quick enough to block one of them. His armor class is now 18.
Okay.
But not quick enough to block the other.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Well, no, that was exactly an 18, so that one will hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will take 3 points of slashing. As one of the goblins that kind of hits against the stone of your skin. The other one just barely moments before you kind of go crystalline, gets a slash into your arm, and the other one is just very, very surprised at the sudden change in his opponent. But that will be it for the 2 goblins. Next up is actually going to be Poppy.
Okay. So Makran is fighting ones on the ground. They are not on mounts.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just on foot.
They're just on foot. So I'm going to, let me ask you also this, because it changes from DM to DM.
Mm-hmm.
Can I do an action that is like a scimitar, an attack action, and then a bonus, a cantrip that is, or is...
If the cantrip
is a
itself
bonus action.
is a bonus action, then yes, you can do it.
No. So I'm just going to...
I mean, some actually do.
But not they are
not
on my list.
Not what you want to do.
So that's just for reference. I'm going to just the one that actually got an attack in on Makran. I'm going to go at him with my scimitar. But before I walk over there, before I leave my wool, I give him another piece of jerky, and I say, if you want to be free or defend your comrades, I understand, but I would very much like to be your friend. And
Give me a quick animal handling check.
it's gonna be a 10.
A 10.
A little sad 10.
The wolf accepts your jerky,
And then runs away.
but it doesn't necessarily run away, but it's also not going to join your side.
It's okay, I understand. I give him my jerky and I go help Makran. Hopefully we're gonna see if I actually help. Probably not. That's a big 7.
Big 7. Yeah, you run in there all excited, but you're a little, that disappointment of just,
so sad.
my wolf friend doesn't
He doesn't want to be my
want
friend.
to be my friend. And if you swing, and this goblin notices you as you're coming in and just kind of steps back and is like, yeah, you don't know the secret of making friends with the big wolves, don't you?
I doubt you're their friend either. They seem like they're just prisoners. And that's my turn.
All
I don't have
right.
anything else I can do.
They have that Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm, what?
All those big words gets out of that tiny thing.
Is that some kind of gravy? All right, it's Paul's turn.
Dun dun dun.
So Paul has placed himself flat against his wolf to avoid your shot, Gideon, and you see him kind of kick his heels into the sides of the wolf to prompt it to charge forward. So he is basically giving up his action to allow the wolf to attack you as his mount. So the wolf is going to run up to you, and because he has Paw who's giving him directions, gets advantage because of his pack tactics. He is going to try and bite you. There'll be a 13.
Shield up.
Shield up.
Miss-
Okay.
miss me.
Yeah, you get your shield up just in time as this wolf crashes against it, and it's massive alpha wolf, so you're really having to push hard to prevent it from, getting its jaws and its massive paws just on you, but it scratches ineffectively at your shield and just kind of rears back down, and Paul just now is eye to eye with you, and just, how about that, Buttercup? So, Zominous, back to you.
How far away did Paul end up from getting
Oh, he's right up.
right up?
Yeah, they are nose to nose.
All right. I'm gonna take another poke at Paul with my pistol.
Okay. I'm gonna give him a little bit of cover, basically just because you're trying to shoot him, but you're also trying to avoid hitting Gideon.
I'm imagining that it's sort of a line, and he's in between, so I'm shooting him in the back.
Yeah, but I will say, again, just because they're so close,
Yeah.
you know, you worry about the bullet going wide.
All right. As 19.
That just hits.
Okay. So I am then going to holster my gun
Okay.
and start walking up to Paul and Gideon.
Okay. How much damage?
Oh, that was 9.
9 points of damage.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay.
I do have my dagger in my hand.
Did you get sneak attack?
Mm-hmm.
Was that 9 points with your sneak attack?
All right, he's right on you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, he has a good point right there. Thank you very much. That is
D6.
that was a D6. Yeah, I think I'm D4. 6 extra points.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm gonna use that extra whatever I have left to draw my rapier too.
Okay. Well, so
Hopefully with him in between the two of us.
with the shot, taking careful aim, and you notice, Gideon, you know, you see this gunshot and you see it hit Paw, and you can see right into this goblin's eyes. His eyes just go real wide, and he slumps forward on top of the wolf, and the other two little goblins just, Paw! No, you shot Paw!
Oops, we just killed Pa.
It wasn't me. That's the man that shot your Paul. I got blades. It wasn't me.
That's awesome.
That's the man that shot your Paul.
So Paw is down.
How's the alpha, the wolf?
The wolf is.
You react to any of this?
So yeah, so the wolf kind of like his ear shifts. He looks back at because again the body is just kind of slumped over. He's bleeding out, so he's very bad shape. And kind of just gives a lick to Paw's hand. Just this very, very upset growl begins to resonate from this wolf's chest as the ears kind of flick forward, and you see that there's an odd intelligence in the eyes of these wolves the goblins have. And it seems that they have a very close relationship. So there seems to be a little unease in this wolf's eyes about what he wants to do, and we'll find out next.
Red Dirt D&D is Ash King as our Dungeon Master, Brooke Bullock as Macron Stoneshaper, Johnny Payne as Zonimus Dinar, Kiri Hester as Poppy Tealeaf, and I'm Michael Cross as Gideon Block. Our sound producer is Mark Coughran. Our theme music was created by the cinemagician P.J. Castillo. Our incidental music comes from Jeffrey McBride, and our sound effects courtesy of tabletopaudio.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our new home on the interwebs, reddirtdnd.com. We here at Red Dirt D&D could really use your help in getting the word out about us. If you like what you've heard, make sure and subscribe, rate us, and leave a comment. Also, tell your friends about Red Dirt D&D. You can also support the show at patreon.com/reddirtdnd. We have several giving levels to help us grow up big and strong. And finally, a special thank you to KOSU for giving us a platform to do what we love so much. Join us next time as we go deeper into the Caliban frontier.